Hey YouTube, TK here again. So, this is the first one for 2026. So, it's not the usual, not minis. So yeah, we've got a couple of different cars. Obviously, as you'll see from the thumbnail, this is going to feature a MG Midget 1500. But there's also another car in there that you'll be able to check out as well, that we have a quick look at. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. Right, this is a wee bit different. Not exactly what we're used to seeing on my channel, but here we have a very lovely 1.1 litre Mark II two-door Escort. So I set this one up a couple of years ago with my old gas analyzer, an old vane style one. So this time around I'm going to use my new gas analyzer. And I'm going to go right through the ignition system, just recheck all of that. Apparently now it's developed an issue higher up in the RPM. Say 3,000 to 4,000 RPM, it starts to fall over. Yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Right, so I've gone through and I've done my usual checks. So the coil down here is showing a little bit higher than standard. Not ridiculously, we're only talking a couple of points. So won't replace that just yet. It is meant to be I believe it's a 1.5 ohm coil on this particular system. It's got a ballast resistor in it. So yeah, I'll leave that for now. I'm just going to check the ignition timing really quick, just because it seems to be skating all over the place. Just checking the dwell angle too. It's sitting nice and pretty at 48. So it's just a little bit higher than spec, which going off my book here it says 44 degrees dwell. So again, check your books, check the data, make sure the data is also right, so cross-reference that if you can. But yeah, as I say, so that side of it's right. So we'll just go through and I'll just do a couple more checks on it, check the ignition timing. So I've just taken the spark plug out of cylinder 2. It is still quite hot, but as you can see from the colour in here, it hasn't been burning too bad. So I'll get the rest of them out, I'll re-gap them to what they need to be, bang them back in and sort the timing out. So I've get the spark plugs, I've checked the leads, they're all fine and dandy, I'm all happy with those. Moving to the ignition timing, I haven't actually adjusted that, that's still exactly where it was set to from a couple of years ago when I did it. Obviously, having since done my course with AC Dodd and Darren Haynes, I've learned a little bit more about ignition timing optimization. So just going through that same technique on this car, and it's bang on the money. So you're checking with the vacuum advance on at 4,000 RPM. I was getting a lovely 46 degrees of total ignition timing. So that's my last check that I do on the ignition system. So moving on to hooking the gas analyzer up and seeing what the mixtures are doing. So I've got the gas analyzer just set up, just warming up now. Actually, there it goes. That is nice and clean, although I do think I want to fatten that mixture up just a little bit, but only a touch. Probably aiming, yeah, maybe 13.8, 13.9 rather than in the 14s. So I'll just hear it picked up just a little bit. I've hardly moved the screw on that. So the adjustment screw is actually right on here, right there. That's the idle. So people are aware of that. Just a wee little Kent engine, just a factory carburetor. So nothing special. Just try and get that in the right spot. It's being a wee bit fiddly, so right, we'll just yeah, I'm happy with that, more or less. I think if I'm going to get any closer than that, I'm going to be really picky. I'm happy with that. Sweet. I will now run it through the rev range and see what it's doing. Probably going to look like it's really fat, stationary, but a road test with the gas analyzer in it will determine that. So I've actually taken that right off now because I want to have a look down inside the carburetor while it's running, because it actually started leaning out. I was actually expecting it, as I said, to go, you know, quite a bit richer. But yeah, it actually took off into about 15.8, you know, 16 AFR from about 3,000. So I just want to check in there and make sure that we're getting fuel going in nicely, just as a visual. There could be something else wrong with it, like a bad. It might not be getting fuel pressure, sufficient fuel flow. So yeah, I just want to check some other things out before I go any further really with it. But just to show you what it's doing. And that was at 3,000 RPM where it just took off lane. So yeah, something's not quite happy there. So yeah, I've had the carburetor apart and I found a wee bit of sediment in there. I'll just reset that idle mixture so it's a little bit better than that. There goes. Right, so I'll just go up to the rev range so you can get an initial squirt of fuel. Will make it go quite rich. Not really, that's good. That was 4,000 RPM. I'm a lot happier with it. It's a lot nicer. So now I'll take it for a good drive. I've already had the analyzer in it while taking it for a drive, so you know I'll take it for a drive now and see what it's like, but I'm pretty happy with it so far. So it should be quite a bit of a difference. So anyway, that one's all done now. I'm well happy with that, so I'm going to talk to the customer about it. But moving on to their next car. Look, another, not a Mini. Got a MG Midget 1500 here with, as soon as I open the bonnet, as soon as I remember how to open the bonnet, there we go. Some twins. This is going to be a interesting tune because I've already noticed a couple of issues wrong with the carbs. So I'll just go through those, go through the system like I usually do, and yeah, we'll see what we find. So something interesting on this one, which is a little bit hard to see because it's the accessibility in here, but I'll do my best to show you, is this jet here. Not sure if you can hear that, but that is moving up and down quite a bit just by itself, just floating there, so it's not returning all the way. Well, nothing's actually returning it. Right, so what I've done is I've had this carburetor off, I've also had this carburetor off, replaced the gaskets behind both of them. I've reset the spring that's just in here. These linkages are loose at the moment. I've had the dash pots off. I've balanced the spring rates, the drop rates and the rise rates. Currently I've got 5 weight oil in there just to see, or just for tuning purposes at the moment obviously, just something's better than nothing. So now I'm going to go through and balance the carbs. So once I've got the airflows set up, then I can kind of take my attention away from here because I know that it's going to be running a lot better already. I mean, it's already a lot smoother because the this jet down here isn't moving up and down willy-nilly like it was, just because obviously that spring wasn't actually holding it back up. So now I'll go through and set everything up. So I've got the jet tube set probably a little bit lean at the moment, just to try and help clean those plugs off a wee bit because they've been pretty fouled up considering how it came in running. So anyway, I'll get on with these. Right, I've got these two balanced now. I've got the choke linkages all set up and the idle, the high idle set up as well. So basically, I can move away from these for the time being and get back onto the ignition. Actually, make a start on the ignition system. Once I've got that all fully dialed in over here, then I can finally get back to these and get them finally all dialed in. And then it's just a matter of getting some new air filters on it and going from there. Hopefully it's just a road test. Right, so back into it. It's actually Friday now. So I've changed the spark plugs on it, gone to set a BP5ES, gap to 25 thou to match the ignition system. Sorted out the points gap. It's got a new set of leads on it. This is what the plugs were looking like. These are Champion N9YCs, so a little bit too cold. Yeah, gone through the ignition timing as well. Found it was firing on TDC at idle. It's now at 11 degrees, and with total and vacuum, it's at 39 degrees. So a little bit lacking with the vacuum, but good on the mechanical side. So anyway, now that side's sorted out, I can get back to the carbs and get the fueling corrected. I've got the gas analyzer all hooked up now, so this is what we've got it balanced to and idling at, which is absolutely fine for this ignition system. Be able to handle that quite nicely. So yeah, I'll just go up to the rev range. Be a needle change. So I'll get the carbs back apart and see what we've got. Right, so I just thought I'd show you this now. I've tried about 3 different sets of needles, just going needle hunting, just for the sake of it, and simply because I can. I had tried AAR needles, AAT needles, and they proved just to be basically just about as lean, if not leaner, in some areas than the ADN needle that was in it. Basically from about 3,000 again, they all just took off. So I'll just try and get this timing light in here so you can see. A little bit tricky, so I do need to improve the setup so you can observe a little bit better. But I'll just go up through the rev range and see what it's doing now. So yeah, obviously a little bit better than what I'd want at 2,000. But 3,000 is nice and clean. Just as you're getting up to 5,000 RPM, it's just starting to richen up. So my next step is to basically road test it now with the gas analyzer. Sorry, I'll just watch that come down. It will return. I do have to do some dampener tuning on this one, but that's part of the road testing. So obviously with twin carbs I do need to have it under a load just to get the acceleration mixtures right. But I can't do that on camera, annoyingly enough, simply because I can't hold the camera and drive at the same time. I'll carry on with this and see how we go. Right, so as you can see, I've now got the air filters and the air box on. Now I checked the fueling with just the filters on and there was no difference. So I was happy with the filters and how they were breathing. Then as soon as I put the cover on, it went basically bore wash rich. So what I've had to do is drill a series of holes right around, basically just to match the airflow. And yeah, I've got it pretty well bang on. I do have a plotted graph, which I'll actually show you right now. So At idle I had 13.8 AFR, at 13.6 at 2000, a little bit on the richer side. I would have liked that at 13.8, but it's close enough. 14.4 at 3000, 13.7 at 4000, and obviously getting a little bit richer at 13.3 at 5000, which I'm fine with. That's yeah, that'll certainly make things a little bit nicer. Obviously the plotting isn't exactly where it needs to be, but you get the idea with the numbers there. So yeah, this is the spark plug now out of I believe it's cylinder 3. I did have the spark plug out of cylinder 2, and it looks the exact same. So really happy with that. So I'll hand it back over to the customer, and we'll see what they think. So yeah, here we have it. Both cars dialed in, and the customers have taken the cars away. The Mark II Escort, I actually caught up with the owner the very next day. So obviously the owners didn't want to appear on camera, and that's absolutely fine. But yeah, I obviously do a wee bit of a follow-up just to make sure that they're happy with them still, because you know they don't take them for a drive and then bring them back straight away. Most of the time they just get in them and go. And yeah, so obviously I do a bit of a follow-up. But yeah, the Mark II Escort pulled up to me in traffic, and so I was able to quickly ask him. So that was a really nice thing. It was actually the very next day that he collected the car. Said it was much more, had much more go to it, and yeah, it was a little bit more reliable too. Well, obviously, more reliable. So yeah, added bonus that he gets to drive his car and have a smile on his face as well. So I was very glad to actually catch up with him. Now the owner of the MG Midget, I contacted him after the weekend that he'd picked it up. It might have been the Monday or the Tuesday that I actually contacted him. It had been raining over the weekend, so he didn't get out in it, but he did take it to work, which is a great sign. So obviously it's feeling that he could take his car to work, and he said it started really well and it runs really well, and it's all the usual, but I mean, considering how it was when it drove in with that jet tube wandering around like it was, it's no surprise. But yeah, it's good to see that he's able to use his car now too. Now, obviously you'll see that these airboxes are quite restrictive, and I had to open up the MG's one quite a lot. Now the reason for that is from the factory, what they do is they get one of these, which is this is an ABU, which is actually out of the Triumphs. I believe this is a Triumph 2 litre standard needle. At least it was out of the carbs that I've got on the bench here. But what they do is they put a lean needle in it, and they put a restrictive airbox on just to reduce the power, but also to kind of correct the fueling via air restriction. So they'd make it really lean, and then they'd bring that down with airflow. But obviously, what I'm doing is the other way around. Is I'm correcting the air fuel ratio with no restriction, and then getting rid of that restriction. So I'm actually increasing the power at the same time as increasing the economy as well. So obviously what you'll see is that the graph did change a little bit from what the AFR gauge did. About that 2000 RPM, it went from the 12s, and then on the graph it went into the 13s, the 13.6. Obviously I've still got to get better at drawing graphs, because somehow apparently 13.6 is leaner than 13.8, which obviously doesn't make sense. But that's just how bad I am at drawing graphs. So anyway, the correction that I'd made to better that wasn't a needle swap. It was simply just damper modifications. So that's how I was able to combat that, to make it cleaner through that part of the rev range as well. That didn't have an effect on the acceleration. If anything, it actually made the acceleration, it actually made the acceleration a little bit better. Didn't make it as rich, because obviously naturally it's leaning out that section that it was, and it'll basically lean out the acceleration side of it too, but only just. Obviously, there's plenty of modifications that I can do to the dampers, but obviously that's as is basis, as required. But anyway, yeah, so obviously much more performance out of the MG 1500, and obviously far more reliable now too, to the point where the customer's actually able to take it to work. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please like, share, subscribe, and all the rest. I've got another video coming out soon, which is a bit of a follow-up on a Toyota Start that I did last year. I didn't actually get to go right through, unfortunately, last year, simply because of a loose manifold situation, so I just let the customer deal with that and get them to bring it back. But yeah, obviously you'll see that in an upcoming video, as well as a mini as well. So until next time, have a good one.